oh my god, the world's amazing.
Hello and welcome to the Culture Shock podcast, the Itchen College podcast. I am making this up as I go along because it's the first time we've ever done this, and we've got our first ever guest, Luiza. How are you today?
Hi, Sam. Uh, Thank you for receiving me here. I'm really good. Thank you. What about you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. We had a few technical difficulties to start, but it is great that
Yeah.
we have finally managed to get to the production phase. So tell us first a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? And why did you choose, in my opinion, the best college in the world for your exchange year?
So I'm Luiza. I'm 17 years old. Now I'm in my last year of high school. So now I'm thinking about like my future, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna study in university, and why did I choose the best college in England? Well, I think it was because I always wanted to explore more about like historical things, and I found Itchen College a place where I could like have these A level classes. It's a program where we can study things, but in a more deeper way, in a more deeper level. So I was able to study this part of all of the subjects that I like, that I enjoy more. So that's why Eton College was this like the best place to go, and also because there were lots of exchange students too, so I didn't feel alone, and that was really good.
That's amazing. So tell me, because I've never done an exchange year in my life, talk me through the process from your point of view, from the minute that you thought about, going on an exchange to the minute that you're at the airport and you think, oh my God, this is really happening. And then the moment where you meet your host family for the first time. Walk me through that entire process because I've never experienced it.
Oh, for me, it was like I was excited. It felt like when I woke up in the day that I was going to England, it felt like it was my birthday because I was kind of like in a highlighted view of my family. So they were always like, "How are you? How are you feeling? Today is your day, the day you have always dreamed about." And then when I was in the airport, it was okay. But then when I said goodbye and then I looked back and I couldn't see my family, there I felt like my exchange program had started because I felt like, okay, now it's me and myself and I. So like when I arrived in the airport in England, in London, uh, I was able to see lots of people who were living the same experience as me. So I didn't feel that alone. But missing my family was something that I was not ready, but it made me feel like stronger now. So now I know that I don't need to be with them all the time to feel like I am loved or anything like that. So now I can see that yes, I can have this love from my family even when I'm away for some time. And also, like the host family was something that it comes to my heart like as a beautiful experience that I had. So like I had three, uh, two girls and one brother, and I also had this Italian sister, Beatrice, and she was so welcoming with me, and I was welcoming with her, so it made our experience go well. And yes, I think the host family thing, when I arrived there, they were so welcoming, and I felt like home. Like
Yeah.
it's really weird to say that because you just left your home, like your home country, but when you arrive to a new place and you feel like this welcoming, like the school staff, everything, they were so welcoming, like as you, Sam.
I
Thank you
try.
for that.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's something that I think you can feel like the way I'm telling you that it was something that really was special for me.
Yeah, you've put that in such a lovely way as well. So, on that subject, then, who was your host family? If you just want to give their first names, because then I can show them this and they can feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
They are the Chortons, Nikki and Alan.
Okay, yes. So you were in Netley in that
Yeah,
place.
Natalie.
Yeah, a
Nikki's
lovely area.
Chris' daughter.
Yeah, oh, that's a lovely area. So, yeah, you definitely must have had a brilliant experience there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was incredible. So, what were your expectations before you came to the UK?
I was open minded, but I think it's just normal that we feel like we have these expectations. We dream about some things. So, like, I was expecting to be able to travel around England and maybe play some countries that were closer, because in Europe you have this chance to travel more compared to Brazil, which is a big country.
We are very
Uh,
fortunate, yeah.
yeah, but I also was like expecting this kind of cold stereotype, but I didn't feel like that. I think also because the kids made me feel like uh, I was part of their family, so I didn't feel like they were like, no, you're not from my country, I don't know you. No, they were at the absolutely opposite. So also, like at school, I felt like the English students, they were also curious about like how was my routine in Brazil, so that made me feel special. And also, I think they felt special too, because it was exchange of informations. So they gave me things about informations about their daily routine, and I gave it from mine in Brazil. So I think my expectations were so low compared to what I lived, because what I lived was better than I could have ever expected. I don't know if I'm being clear with you.
No, you are being absolutely clear, and it is lovely to hear that as well. So, tell me a little bit about your exchanges with English students. What did you learn from them, and what did they learn from you?
Oh, I think I learned with them that they were able to travel a lot. So, like every time I was talking about like planning to go to some places, normally they had already been to that place, so they could like give me informations. And also, I had friends in different classes, because I was part of math classes, history, biology, English, business. So I was able to like explore places around people, different people. So, and also I think they learned a little about like how we deal with our culture in Brazil, or our parties that we have. This cultural thing. I think they were curious about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
and also soccer, football. I think we say in British English,
yeah, we,
right?
we would use the correct term, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you were with one of the groups that I spoke to right at the beginning of the year. I think I handed your group my phone and said, write me a list of Brazilian food to try.
Yeah.
I think I've still got that list on my phone as well, and I tried most of it. It was absolutely
Mm.
brilliant. So thank you very much for that. I put on a lot of weight in Brazil, and it was totally worth it. Um, so let's talk a little bit about travel then, because you said you got a lot of travel advice from English students. And you
Mhm.
said you also wanted to explore a bit more of Europe as well. Let's start locally and talk about the UK. What cities did you have the opportunity to visit while you were here?
I think I won't be able to remember all of them, because I really had a list of it. Like every place I've been, I put on my notes. But I've been to Brighton, London, Salisbury. Oh my god, I won't be able to remember everything. Portsmouth, Bournemouth, Oxford. I don't know. I remember like I've been to lots of places. Oh, Bristol,
Did you go
uh,
to Bath as well? I know there was a group that went
Bath,
to Bath. Yeah.
Chichester.
Oh
It's a
wow.
lot of places. Yeah, I've been to lots of places. Like I was the kind of girl who wanted to travel like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday too. So every free time I had, I was able to make the best of it. So every time I could, I was planning to go to some place or different place, and I was able to see different UK's. in the UK. I don't know if you can understand. Like you can see different cultures in the same country. So like the way people walk around, like the way people talk within themselves. So that made me feel like more culturally rich, I think.
Yeah. See,
And that was really good.
that's really interesting because as a British person, we know about the north-south divide in our country, but all of the places that you visited are in the south. So I find it really interesting that you've identified differences in the culture within the same sort of broad area of the UK. So what were some of those subtle differences that you noticed?
I think I felt the difference like when I went to some place to ask for information and people were open to know like what I was planning to do in that city and know like how could they help me. So I felt that, and also I think when you go close to the ocean, like we have those big sea cities. We say it like that. Uh,
Seaside town, sea city, yeah, I suppose.
yeah, you could feel a different vibe. I felt like people were happier because they were close to the beach, I think. So I felt like they gave me this different vibe of life. And I think they were at the same time, like as Brighton, which is a big city, I felt like they were not like that accelerated compared to like London in a different way. Like I live in São Paulo, so I think I have this view of uh, crazy life, city life, and I felt like there they were just like so present when they were talking to me, and that was really good.
Yeah, that's amazing. I definitely can empathise with Sao Paulo. I was there for about 4 or 5 days, and it is massive and it is full of people, and it can be overwhelming. But then in Rio, when I was there,
Yeah,
the people were just so much more relaxed and open and friendly.
yeah.
I miss Brazil so much. I really want to go back at
And I
some
miss
point.
England.
Yeah, don't worry. You're always welcome back at Itchen College. Um,
Thank you.
you're very welcome. But let's talk about, well, firstly, in terms of getting around the UK, how easy was it for you to visit all of these different places?
I think it's perfect for us to like move around, like travel around England because we have this train, no, this railway trains. We say like that, I think.
Oh, you can use both.
And like trains were so easy like for me because we used to like buy it like on the app, and then we just go like an hour later. So, and also we could use buses, but it wasn't that easy as like trains for me in my experience. So like I felt safe as well, and that's really important when you are kind of alone or with a friend, because I used to travel a lot with exchange students, so it was all like different for us. And we used to like be so careful about like our security, so we felt safe there, and the trains were the best option for us.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, very easy to get around. That's a bonus. And then you said you wanted to explore Europe. Were you able to explore Europe?
Yeah, a lot.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
Tell me all about that. What adventures did you go on?
So first of all, I would like to thank like Lisa, Lynn, because they were so like supportive with this traveling thing, because us Itchen College students, we when we are like exchange students, international students, we have to give our information. So like when we are going to some place, where are we staying, how are we staying, uh, like how many days are we staying there. And I felt like they were so supportive, also like preoccupied, do we say like
Worried.
worried, yeah, they were worried about it, so I felt safe because they gave me the security, like okay, we are looking at you and we are seeing everything. And I was able to go to France, the south of France in October, then the north of France in December, then I went to Germany. Switzerland, Italy. I think there's one missing. Oh my god! I was able to go to Wales too, and I think that's it. Maybe it's there's one missing. I don't know, but yeah, like I was able to travel a lot, even if I'm missing any other country, and that was really good for me because that's something that I really cherish about my experience in England. It was because I felt safe about traveling, and I was able to like go to some places in a very easy way, and now I'm more in love about like traveling. That's something like when you start traveling, you just want to travel more, and that was literally like that with me. So like I was able to experience like different cultures, as I said before, and like even I went to France 2 times, but it was like two different experiences because when you go to the south, like I went to Nice, the French Riviera, and when I went to Paris, like it's totally different. Like it's kind of the opposite, like the vibes, as I said. And I think it made me richer, like as I said, culturally. And also, I felt like the world's not like just our country, like our home country. So, like when you start traveling, you can see the world in a different way, and that was so good for me, like so good for the person I'm going to be, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, it is. We are very fortunate in the UK that we have so many countries basically on our doorstep. So it's amazing that you've been able to take advantage of that. What was the best place that you visited, either in the UK or in Europe?
Oh, I think I think France.
Yeah. Okay.
For me,
So
it was
what
France.
stood out about France?
I think uh, it was a place where I have always dreamed about going, but when I was there, I think the people I was with, like my friends, who I started to be friends when I started my exchange program, we everything you live like when you are in our exchange year, it feels like deeper, like in a deeper level. So everything is like if you start talking to that person, you start to being friends with them. So like when I was in Nice with these friends, I felt like I was living everything like so new, so brand new in my mind, like what is happening. And so everything I have always dreamed about, like before, like going to France and everything, it felt different, but different in a better way, you know. So also Paris, I was able to see those different, you know, different streets, different people, different way of communicating, and also like different languages. So everything was so different, but it was not something that scared me. It was something that made me feel like, oh my god, the world's amazing. And also Switzerland, it was really good because you could see like I felt like it was a more calm place. Calm, yeah,
Yeah, I got those vibes in Switzerland as well.
yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's like you say, the world is completely different. But I find as well, the more you travel, the more you realise that culturally, loads of places are different, but we actually have more in common than
yeah.
divides us. And I think that's really important to learn. So let's talk a little bit about what you uh, what you experienced personally, because you talked about the person that you've become. What changes did you notice about yourself while you were at Itchen College?
uh I felt like I was not so easily like it was not that easy for me like to feel sometimes like, oh, I'm sad. Like I felt like I was able to, you know, so, feel what I was feeling, but not in a way that it made me feel like so sad. So I started to deal with my emotions in myself. So when you have the opportunity to deal with things like by yourself, sometimes it is important for us to give to have this strength for your life, because when you don't know yourself, things get harder, like when time goes by. So when you know yourself better than anyone, I feel like it's a very good start to, you know, things to get fluid. So when I had this more uh intimacy with what I was feeling, it made life feel easier because I knew what I was feeling. So I think Itchen College made they gave me this experience to like uh have this maturity, of what should I do. So they were there to support me, but they gave me the chance for me to do it at first. And if I couldn't, they were going to be there for me, of course. And I think it gave me so much maturity, and I feel like a more mature person after all this experience.
That's amazing. So, would it be fair to say that when you are on an exchange year, you have a bit more time to maybe reflect on what you're feeling? And if something doesn't go right, you have to be independent. It forces you to be independent. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally fair. I feel it.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And it is amazing being able, for us, especially in the office, to watch so many young people come in as teenagers and then 4, 5, 6 months, 1 year later, they leave as fully fledged young adults. And it is amazing to see that. So, on the subject of college, let's talk a little bit about your lessons, because earlier you mentioned that you did, was it history, biology, English,
Maths,
maths? You're very brave for doing
finance,
that,
and business.
and business. Yeah, so you mentioned that a lot of the learning is much deeper. So, what were some of the biggest differences that you noticed between Brazil and the UK and our high school education?
I felt like uh, they the teachers were like open to make questions and make us think about things before they taught us anything. So first of all, they gave us like the subject, what were we going to learn about that day, and then we would like talk about like what we know about that subject, and then the teacher started to like talk about it in a deeper level. So we were able to kind of develop our minds to think about things before receiving all the information, because nowadays we have information so easily that sometimes we forget like how to think about things like in our way, and then obviously using the theory that is so important. So I think they were so focused on making us develop this thinking part.
Yeah, so a lot of critical thinking, more or less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And in terms, because you say you did 5 subjects, how many subjects do you do in Brazil?
uh, I think 13.
You're a
Yeah.
much braver person than I am. Yeah, that's incredible. So, and what about the timetable at college? Because it is a little bit different to literally every other country that
Mhm.
students come from. So, what time did you usually start college? What did you do? Talk me through a typical school day for you.
So normally I would leave home at 8:45, and then I would get the school bus to go get to school, get to college, and then there I would have like 5 minutes, 10 minutes sometimes to just like see everyone, like how was everyone feeling, and then I would go to classes right away, and we would start at 9 or 9:30. Oh my
It
god,
was 9:30. Yeah,
9:30,
yeah.
right? I think I forgot it. Oh my god. And then we would have classes, and then after some time we would have like this 20-minute break, which I found so important, because we were able to like kind of just take a breath, like drink some water and everything, and then come back to classes like in a more relaxed way. Because when you just listen to something like for lots of hours, you sometimes just get bored. And I think the college was worried about it, like treating us as human beings. Like we really need to have this little rest time. So like when I used to come back like from this little break, we will have classes until 12 past
No,
12,
just 12.
just 12, right? And then I would have like enrichment classes because I applied to lots of it. So like I some days I would do like yoga, or some days dance, or some days tutorial that we all have to do there, just to see how's our experience going, how's our progress, what should we like develop, what's not working well. So there was like 30 minutes of our day, or maybe an hour, like it depends on what we were talking about that day. And then after this break, we will have like this lunch break, of course. And 1:30 we will have like our afternoon classes, so there we would stay until 4. And then after 4 I would take like the college bus to come back to my home. But at the same time, sometimes we would like just go to the center to explore, to go shopping and everything, or eat something different. And yeah, like it was a good routine because I felt like I was free sometimes, just like to see anything. Of course I would have to like to tell my host family where I was going, and they were so like open with me, like to meeting new places, and every time they would support me with that. So like after school sometimes I would go to the center just to like hang out and walk around and see anything different. Even when it was Christmas, we would go there just to see like the Christmas lights, the Christmas decoration, which was so, special, that I felt like in England it was kind of different from Brazil, because you guys take Christmas in a deeper level, and I loved it. So I think it was a good routine for me. I felt like it was so healthy, you know.
And did you do any ice skating at the Christmas market?
No, I didn't.
Oh, heartbreaking.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Next time you can. So the free app that I'm using to record is only giving me a couple more minutes left. So, final question is: what advice would you give to your younger self before starting an exchange?
uh, Trust yourself, like everything uh goes in its ways. So like anytime you just want to control everything, sometimes life just goes in its way. So when you think you're not going to make it, life just shows you like everything different, and you see like, oh my god, I'm stronger than I felt like I was. And that's a really good feeling. So trust yourself. Go like for everything that the world has to give it to you. So like if you have like an enrichment class, go for it. Go to meet new people, see different things, see things you never thought you would like to experience, because sometimes it is important to see things beyond like you ever thought, or maybe wish you were doing, just because it makes you feel like a more open mind, and you start to feel like the world's not like just your mind. You have lots of people around that you can learn lots of things of them, so be open minded. I think that would be my phrase.
Amazing. To trust yourself, be open minded, and that was
Yeah.
really eloquently put. Luiza, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today. You have given me some really amazing insights that I had never even considered. And it is incredible to hear your experience. And I am genuinely really happy that you had such an amazing time at Itchen College.